Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 33, and we're back in the Talking Lead quarters.
Double trace. Yes, sir.
And I'd like to thank our sponsors, Firearms Radio Network, bandwidth sponsor, firearmsradio.tv.
Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services, HG Press. Call them at 1-800-615-1840, extension 2222, and they can help you with all your Middle Tennessee real estate needs.
All or Nothing Tattoo Studio. That's allornothingtattoo.com, and their gun-friendly merchandise, shirts, all kinds of stuff with their tattoo logos. Strangleholdmerch.com, and we've got a couple of new ones that we'll discuss a little bit more later. We'll kind of go into a whole commercial for them, but we officially have Rob Pincus and ICE Training on board.
And we have U.S. Elite Gear.
Yep, US-EliteGear.com. And if you go to uselitegear.com and you enter the code TALKINGLEAD, you will get a nice little discount. Left hand, I think from some noises I hear in the background, we have a special guest with us.
Have we been tuned in to overseas?
Yeah, I think we are completing.
We've tracked him down finally.
Yeah. We've had Reaper 01. We've had Reaper 02. We had them out of order. And now we are completing
Ron and Doug,
and we're completing the Reaper trilogy with John Bellin.
Episode 33, we have
the Reaper trilogy.
3.
Yep, that's awesome. How's it going,
John? Welcome in.
I'd rather be last than never called, I guess. Yeah.
Not that we didn't try.
but I know Ron, he's a big ham, and Doug's a big ham, so they kind of probably fought over who was first, huh?
Yeah.
Coming on the show.
Ron had some good stories for us.
Yeah. Doug lucked out because he lives like 15 minutes from me, so...
He's probably one of those guys that show up on the door every day. Can I be on the show, guys? Please, come on, I'm ready.
He's close to the lead quarters.
Yeah. Now
you guys got to move shop somewhere else so he can't find you.
Well, we try to move it around every week, but he finds us occasionally.
Damn internet.
Now, you were starting to tell us a little story about Reaper 01. I was like, I got to get this on air. So what was going on with that?
Well, when we were talking prior to this, you guys were telling about Reaper 01 having a lot of good stories and stuff like that, and, how you had to edit it. And, we went to Hilton Head for 4th of July weekend there. We went for 5 days, and we just pull in. I always, I have my daughter with me. She's 13. My brother seems to like to, swear once in a while. So he made a bet with my daughter for every time he swears, he has to pay her $1.
Oh, no.
So we were already paying high dollar for room and board there, so I didn't know if he brought his American Express. I didn't know if he brought his American Express gold card or not, And so by the end of the trip, there was, I think, $45 changing hands into her college fund. So
nice.
That was a good thing.
That was an easy bet right there, wasn't it?
That's awesome.
Probably the easiest money she'll ever make right there.
So, hang on. Left hand, we got a call coming in. John, hang on 1 second. We got another caller that just called in, a world-class shooter, actually.
I think he's a world champion shooter who has recently set some amazing records.
Yeah, so we got Max Michel on the phone. Max, how's it going, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, doing well.
Hey, man, we appreciate you calling in. So you're down in New Orleans, right?
I am. Just north of New Orleans. I'm on the other side of the lake. So.
Just flew in, right? So you're just kind of doing a little layover at the house. Where'd you get in from?
That's it. I pay my bills here, but I don't really live here, unfortunately. I just came back from Europe. I spent some time out in Finland, and it was a lot of fun there.
Nice. Were you there for competition or something? Or
yeah, a little bit of everything. A little bit of both. I was out doing some training and working with some guys, doing some shooting with some buddies I had met and visited last year. And then there was a competition on the back end, which was pretty unique because what I do here in the States is obviously geared toward what everybody does around here for the action shooting sports. But to go over there, I was just on the border of Russia and Finland, and I was shooting in some of the Russian competitions, and that was a lot of fun. It was quite a bit different.
Nice.
So is that your first time overseas for competition?
No, I started my first overseas competition was back in '99, and that's when I first joined the Army shooting team, and since then, it's just been kind of a whirlwind, traveling all across the world and shooting lots of matches.
So you were in the Army first, and is that how you got into competitive shooting?
Actually, I got into competitive shooting through my father. As I said, I actually grew up in the city of New Orleans, and the crime started getting worse and worse. So we moved out of town.
Wait a minute, where are we going with this? What were you competitively shooting when the crime was getting bad?
Well, the crime was getting bad, so we moved out. So we got out of there. And when we got out, we happened to move relatively close to a gun range, and it was just a coincidence that my dad enjoyed shooting, and we happened to live near this gun range, so he got there and started shooting more and more. And I mean, I did what every other young boy did, and I would just kind of follow my dad. And I was 5 years old going to the gun range with him, and that's kind of how I got started. We would shoot in the evenings and go to competitions over the weekends and things like that, and it kind of progressed from there.
Awesome.
Max, would you say that your specialty is speed shooting?
Exactly, yeah. I would say my specialty would be speed shooting. Correct.
Gotcha. Now, we've got another friend of the show that you actually beat him to coming on, so it may mean you're quicker. And I never pronounce his last name right. It's KC something. Usib. Help me.
You know what? It doesn't even matter. We don't have to talk about him. No, I'm just joking.
Talk about, right?
How do you say his last name?
Eusebio.
Eusebio. There you go.
Eusebio.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He's like a little brother to me. I've watched him. I mean, I'm not much older than he is, but I've watched him kind of come up from just a tiny little skinny guy to he's not much bigger now, but he shoots much faster.
Oh, gotcha. Now, he's known for speed and shooting too, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
correct.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Tell us and our listeners what's involved with speed shooting competitions. How do those break down?
And I mean, there's many different competitions that you can enter, but I don't want to say that it's when I say speed shooting, it doesn't mean that we don't have to hit the targets. The problem is pretty much anybody can shoot fast, and with proper training, most people can shoot accurately, but it's finding that unique skill of being able to shoot fast while remaining accurate enough. And what I mean by enough is acceptable accuracy. So sometimes the target is 12 inches in diameter. Sometimes it's 18 by 24. Other times it's much smaller.
Wow.
So it all depends on the distance and the difficulty of the targets of how fast we're going to engage them. But basically what a speed shooting competition is there's multiple targets in front of you, and somebody, the range official is behind you, and he gives you the ready command. And once you hear that buzzer, that's your time to go. And once that buzzer goes off, that's the clock is actually running from that point. And when you fire your last shot, the clock will stop by sound. Now, when that happens, there you have your overall time. Let's say it's 10 seconds to complete a course of fire, and then they want to go down there and see what you actually hit on those targets, and then they'll start deducting points from you. Once you start getting out of what we call the alpha zone, which is essentially our X ring, and they start deducting points, and so it can add up pretty quickly. We have penalty targets and procedurals and things like that, and rules that we have to follow. But essentially, we're trying to go as fast as we can possibly go by remaining, pretty much as accurate as possible. Because once you get to the top of the game, that's how you win. For many years it was, hey, just go as fast as you can and try to hit the targets. Well, nowadays it's go as fast as you can, and you better be hitting the center 95% of the time, or somebody else is going to win. So it gets pretty difficult when you have to shoot fast and hit things.
Right.
Fast and accurate, yeah. Give us just kind of from your point of view, one of your favorite competitions, speed shooting competitions, from start to finish. Take us through that scenario. Yeah,
I would say, again, I compete in so many different aspects and so many different sports, but probably right now one of my favorite sports that I compete in speed shooting world is the Pro-Am Championship. And that's based down in Frostproof, Florida, just south of Orlando, by the USPSA president, Phil Strader. He actually runs the event and brought it back to life, because years ago it was on ESPN, I guess, but he brought it back to life a couple years back, and it's just a blast, absolute blast. Essentially what it is it's 8 separate courses of fire, and each course of fire could have anywhere from 30 to 50 pieces of steel that you have to knock down.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah, and the unique thing about this is it's just a straight drag race. All the top guys are out there shooting against one another with the same equipment, the same gear. So if you have a compensator and an optic, so do I, or whatever the case is, we're all running in the same division, so you have the top pros competing against one another. But the cool thing about it is it's all knockdown steel, so it makes it great for viewers at home.
Steel don't lie, does it?
Exactly, it doesn't lie. It either falls or it doesn't, And the unique thing, though, is they'll set what we call a par time, meaning, okay, they'll say, hey, Zeke, you have 12 seconds to go down and knock down as many targets as you can. You ready? go.
No.
And, and you just have to quickly identify, what targets you want to hit, because the beautiful thing is, if you see a weakness in that particular course of fire, well, you can just bypass it. You can say, well, I'm not very good at shooting, one-handed, or I'm not very good at shooting around this awkward position, so I'm going to skip it, and I'm going to run down to the end and shoot down more targets over there.
Oh, wow.
So it becomes a mental challenge
Kind
more
of
than
a
anything.
shooter's choice kind of deal.
Exactly, but that's my absolute favorite event right now to compete in every year. We only do it once a year, unfortunately, but it's a blast. And like I said, essentially it's 8 different obstacle courses that you have to navigate through, whether you're running, jumping, crawling, kicking down doors, locating targets, and you just have to shoot them down as quickly as you can before that second buzzer expires.
Now, is it a cumulative of all those courses put together into one, or are you doing one course at a time? How's that work?
Correct. Yeah, we're doing one course at a time, and at the end, and they'll basically pay out for the pros. They'll pay out a certain amount of money for each winner of each event, but the cumulative score overall will give you the overall champion. Correct.
Cool.
Now, you were talking about equipment a second ago. What do you shoot? What do you have a certain brand that you prefer, or do you just shoot everything? Or
just talk to us about from head to toe on a typical shoot what your gear is.
Yeah. So as far as my gear, I'll start off with the firearm of choice, and I. Back in 2009, when I separated from the U.S. Army, I kind of had that choice to go into the pro shooter. I was lucky enough to have a few different opportunities to go into a pro shooter job full-time and work for myself and become a contractor for various companies, and that's, kind of how I've been making my living the last 4 to 5 years. And I hooked up with a company, Sig Sauer, based out of Exeter, New Hampshire.
Wow.
I think we've heard of them.
Yeah, I think most people have heard of them.
Yeah.
It's a small company. But, I'm very blessed, to go and hook up with these guys, and I could have chose a few others, but honestly, the reason why I went with Sig, I mean, the guns, the reliability and the durability speaks for themselves, but it's just the people behind the scenes that you don't see, whether it be the marketing department or anywhere from the top all the way down. They just made me feel at home and made me feel like a family, and that's what I look for first and foremost in sponsors, because, I hate to say that these top pro shooters can shoot anything, but they just about can. Any one of these top guys that are out winning competitions, they can take any firearm as long as it works, and they're still going to be great with it. But it's who do you want to associate yourself with is the big thing for me. And Sig was just an amazing opportunity for me to work with, and so I use a number of different firearms from them, whether it be a custom firearm that's really not available to the public just yet, all the way down to some of the production line stuff that I run as well. So. That's definitely my firearm of choice, and you'll be seeing me shoot that for a very long time, hopefully, as long as they keep me around, unless they figure out that I'm just scamming them and they fire me tomorrow. So we'll see.
Now, do you ever really shoot a stock gun? I mean, just straight out of the box? I mean, surely you make modifications to every one of them for your competitions, I would think.
Yeah, I would say I try to keep some of my production guns, when I mean production, I mean just right off the shelf kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not allowed to do very many modifications to them in competitions. That's one of the things that the
So
sport
depending on the
aims.
competition that you shoot depends on...
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. And so I can shoot a very basic, stock 226, all the way up to a very high-end custom firearm that was built by one specific person, and it can run upwards of $5,000 or $6,000 for just that one firearm. So it just depends on what the competition I'm competing in, and take it from there.
Are y'all about to start a new season of Hot Shots, or has it already been recorded and it's about to start airing? Or
Yeah, Hot Shots is an awesome show, and it kind of just shows the behind the scenes of a life of a pro shooter and kind of the struggles of what it takes to get there. And I filmed with them last year, and season 2 is still currently running right now, reruns, but and we're currently filming season 3 right now, and that will air, I believe, if it does the same that it did last year, it'll air New Year's Eve or around that time frame. So unfortunately, we still have a little bit of ways to go, but we're almost done filming. We filmed quite a bit, but we still have a few more big events left to go for the year.
And tell our listeners where they can find that show.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Sportsman's channel. It's on the Sportsman's channel right now, as I said, running reruns every Monday night, I believe, at 8 o'clock Eastern, or 9 o'clock Eastern. But check it out at Hot Shots TV, whether you check out Facebook or the actual website itself, and you can find more information there. But it'll be on Sportsman's channel once again.
Okay.
And produced by a company based here in Nashville.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, they're great guys. I've worked with them, like I said, for these last couple of years, and it's been great. But I've known them and their camera crew and many of their guys that work with them for years and years in the previous shows that I've worked with. But they're good guys. just before I kind of went off onto my summer tour kind of a thing and started shooting really well, I hooked up with a new sponsor, actually based near you guys as well, Italian Gun Grease.
Oh, okay.
So that's a new sponsor of mine I'm really excited about. So looking for big things and hopefully, can kind of shed some light on what they're doing and how they're doing it and bring more awareness to that for more competition speed shooters, because that's the thing, some of us in the speed shooting world, we're looking for slightly different things than other folks might be looking for. We're not as concerned as, putting on this really thick lubricant that's going to last forever and, that might protect, and maybe those things do that, but what we're looking for is something that's going to be able to run these firearms at high rates of speed at extreme temperatures, So for me, I'm really excited about this new product with IGG, and, I'm not typically a superstitious kind of a guy, but since I started using it, good things have been happening. I've been winning competitions, and the guns have been running flawlessly and setting world records, and good things have been going on, so I'm just continuing to try to spread the word for that. But if you could just delete all my... go ahead and delete, all my competitors so they can't hear this. I don't mind for the guys at home listening to this, but if I got Casey Eusebio listening to this, just shut him down real quick.
Just nix it, right?
Yeah, he can't know about it.
So what we kind of started off with is, and just to kind of give our listeners an idea of the equipment that you need, for one of these competitions, head to toe, just kind of go down hat, ears, eyes, what you wear. Not necessarily the brand. If you want to throw brands out there, that's fine too. But just to give our listeners an idea of kind of how you need to gear up for one of these.
Yeah, you bet. I think first and foremost you need to take care of your eyes your eyes and ears when you're out there. As far as hats, you can wear whatever you like. I definitely recommend wearing a hat for the sun, as well as if brass comes your way. It's always nice to have a deflectant there. But as far as taking care of your eyes and ears, I use Revision Eyewear. Again, it's another military-based company that I hooked up with. It's a very good fit for me. And they meet and exceed all the ballistic, that you're going to need to have when you're talking about shooting. And then as far as hearing protection, you just want to look for something that's going to protect you in a manner that's going to allow you to. Some of us have already lost some hearing, but you want to protect that hearing for the future. And I'm running Pro Ears right now by Altis brand. It's a great brand, and they use electronic hearing where basically it attacks within a millisecond of the shot being fired. So you can still hear what's going on the range, but once that shot's fired, it goes ahead and protects your ears, and that's going to be absolutely critical. And then, for the rest of the stuff I'm running, as far as my gear, you want to make sure you have the proper holster, because we're using different holsters and magazine pouches and belts that you might might not typically see in an academy or some of these other larger places. We're looking for stuff that's going to give us the optimal speed to be able to draw the handgun quickly and safely. And I'm using some stuff out of South Africa. Actually, it's the name of the company is CR Speed. And they make some very good products that are that really hard plastic that just won't break, and it's one of those things I've been using for years. And
probably with those custom guns that you have too, you have to have them custom made.
Nowadays they do. They have these holsters that are kind of custom made, but they have these shims that come with them, so you can go ahead and say, I want to run a Sig Sauer today, or I want to run a Glock tomorrow, and you just simply replace the shims, and it's very versatile. So it's really nice that you can do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You were talking about you broke some records. What records exactly were those that you broke?
Yeah, I just got back from the World Speed Shooting Championship down in Florida a couple weeks back, and we have basically they score world records off of every event. And for the World Speed Shooting Championship, there's 8 separate courses of fire. Each course of fire has 5 steel plates, and they can range from 10 inches, 12 inches, and 18 by 24 inches, and they go out from 7 to 35 yards. And each course of fire, you're going to shoot it 5 times. And they throw out your worst run, and you have to take your best 4, good or bad. So, and then from there, you get an accumulative score on each event. So they'll have world records for each separate event itself, as well as an overall world record. And for the 8 separate events, I actually won first place on 6 of them, and I believe I was second on the 7th one, and somewheres around 3rd or 4th on the 8th one. And out of those 6 that I won, I set 4 new world records for those events, as well as a new world record for the overall score at the competition. So that was a really, really big thing. Really great weekend for me there.
And what did you do different that kind of got you to that next level? I mean, I'm sure it's not like baseball or football. You didn't roid up for this.
I wish there was
not that baseball players or football players are doing that.
Not anymore.
Right. Well, yeah, of course. Of course, because they said they're not.
And I believe every word they say.
That's right. I wish there was a magic pill or something like that you can take, but I just think over the years there's nothing that beats experience, hard work and dedication in anything you do.
Sure.
So I find that I like to pride myself as one of the hardest workers in the sport as far as being out on the range and doing the things that I need to do to get better and stronger and faster, but I also go the extra mile of I hired a personal trainer this year, so for the last 6 to 8 months I've been doing some physical training that is geared toward my sport and what I do. And I don't know how many people are actually out there doing that within my sport, so it's one of them things that I definitely look for, that edge there. And like I said, just the mental capacity side of things of, having a family and having so many other more things going on in life that you realize, hey, shooting isn't the end-all, be-all. If you do lose this match, if you do make a mistake here, you're still going to go home and your kids are going to love you, I hope. And you're still going to, do things that you love to do, and it just makes me feel more comfortable that way, so it kind of eases my mind there. But yeah, like I said, just being out there, what I call kind of being out on the battlefield, working with those guys like a KCU Sabio and just kind of going head-to-head numerous times, you learn how to deal with those match nerves and how to use that adrenaline to your advantage. And this week, or that week when I was out in Florida, I actually brought my family with me, and that's a rare occurrence. I never do that. It's kind of one of those golden rules. I like to kind of go off into my own state. I'm with my family 100% of the time, and family always first. But once Daddy goes to work, I'm at work 100%. And this particular competition, I decided, you know what? Let's have some fun. I'll be down in Florida for a couple weeks. I'm going to miss the kids. Let's bring them. We rented a house, and just kind of being dad in the evenings and working during the day. It was really gave me that great balance to kind of put me over the edge at this competition, and it worked well.
That's awesome. And it sounds like we hear some of that family in the background.
Yeah, I tried to keep them away. And
no, that's awesome. We want to.
I'm
we
sure
want people
they've
to hear
missed
the real
you. They're probably mad at us for monopolizing your time right now.
No, you know what? It's a funny story. Was people think, whether it's a pro football player, basketball player, or even a pro shooter, that you're like, oh man, all that guy does is he shoots all day, and man, he's got the greatest. He can do whatever he wants to do. Well, I tell you what, I went to a competition back in 2007. And I set some new, in fact, the World Speed Shooting Championship at the time. I won my second one back then, and I set some new world records. And for doing it, they gave you $40,000. It was a huge payday for one day of work.
Nice.
In fact, it was the largest payday in my sport, and it was a big deal. And it was on my wife's birthday. I was all excited. So I come back home. I got these giant checks. They're like the size of, they're like 6 feet long or something. I got, baby. I walk in the door. I'm like, baby, look at this. I won $40,000. And she looked at me and she's like, yeah, well, the baby's diaper over there needs to be changed. Go ahead and get that done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
you take that money and buy some diapers.
I guess I'm home. Back to reality.
and then it sinks
awesome.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, so they keep me grounded. It's, having family and kids, it's nothing better, and I just truly love it.
So tell listeners a little bit about how they can get a hold and find out more about you, your website. I know you do some trainings and stuff too, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I do a lot of training. So you can find out more information about me at my personal website, maxmichel.com, maxmichel.com, as well as Facebook, facebook.com/maxmichel.us. And you can find out more information there about my sponsors, training, calendar, whether it's results, TV appearances, things like that. And you can contact me on email there as well if you have any questions in regards to my sponsors or any questions in regards to the shooting sports in general. I'd be more than happy to help out.
Awesome.
Cool. So, guys, check out Max on Hot Shots coming up. Was it Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, starting, December? Is it December when that's starting?
I believe it's December 31st.
December 31st on the Sportsman's Channel.
Awesome, Max. Thanks for calling in.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
No
Max.
problem. So how cool is that?
That's pretty awesome, man. I'd love to check out some of his competition sometime.
And why is it I always say how cool is that every time somebody calls in?
Because you're fake.
Whatever. So, John, we'll actually get back to you being part of the show this week.
Yeah, so John, I know you're...
Are you starting to realize how much of a cluster we are?
Let me explain something to you guys. I'm having flashbacks being on the Reaper team in a location, doing multiple takes and going, why the hell is this going on? Ron, don't mess up. Doug, come on. John, you're messed up too.
Go this way. No, go that way.
All right, left hand, go with it.
Okay. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, the summer gets me back on track with my real job, which is a fencing supply house here in New Orleans, outside of New Orleans by the airport. But I don't get a lot of time to pretty much hunt over the summer except on some property up in Mississippi, and kind of been hard at work on putting the green fields together up there, and going up there on the weekends and just hanging out and enjoying the break between seasons, because we just finished airing season 2 of Reaper Outdoors Survive the Hunt.
Right, yeah.
And this gives us some downtime when we're not, running and gunning and going to this state to that state, and
give you a little chance to kick back and really relax, huh?
Yeah, do the things that I enjoy, at least, is kind of hanging out at my property and cleaning up a little bit, getting ready for some archery and breaking away. But we just actually came back from a PA groundhog hunt, our annual PA groundhog hunt up in Pennsylvania. Last week we brought a EOD warrior with us, a double amputee.
Mm-hmm.
And he, his name was Brad, and his code name was Stumpy, they called him, because he owns Stumpy Guns in North Carolina.
Cool.
And this dude moved around better than most people with 2 legs.
Wow.
Great guy, great time. Some of the stories that he had, living the life and living the dream, what these guys love to do in the military.
That's got to be motivating.
And that's something that you guys are big into, is the EOD Warrior.
Yeah, it's EOD Warrior Foundation.
Yeah,
these guys are all, there's 4 military branches that have the EOD guys in it, for the bomb disposal and stuff. So it's a good organization, and, we're a part of, 3 organizations, which is SEAL Legacy is one.
Yeah.
Sal, what's that?
Go ahead.
No, I said yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We just had an interview with them 2 shows prior to this.
Yeah, with Mark McGinnis.
Mark McGinnis, yeah.
Yep.
Had him on the show.
And, we try to go for the smaller organizations where we can make a bigger difference, and where, smaller donations can kind of mean more.
Make a bigger impact,
to that organization than getting lost in the paperwork. And that's what we enjoy doing, and giving back, because, my brother, he's been in the military for 25 years now, and if something happened to him, I'd feel really bad about it and, want to do as much as possible. And this is a way for him and Doug and I to kind of give back.
Definitely.
Right.
For our good fortune.
So the EOD Warrior Foundation, that's kind of a new foundation that we're introducing on the show today. For our listeners to learn more about that foundation, it's eodwarriorfoundation.org, and you can go there and read more about the foundation itself and make donations there. So you're involved with the EOD Warrior Foundation, SEAL Legacy Foundation, and you were saying there was another one?
And then SAL.
And what is SAL?
Special Operation Wounded Warriors.
Okay.
And this is like SEAL guys, Rangers, MARSAC guys, all the special warfare guys that go out there, and a lot of their missions aren't even talked about because they kind of go out there in the dead of the night and do their little secretive things, and bad things happen to them guys too.
Right.
So that's a good organization. Again, 100% of the money goes directly to the guys. Take them on hunts, brings them in. That's one of the hunts we do on Taking Bacon, Operation Taking Bacon. We go out there with them guys.
Bacon's
Last
good.
year when we went there, we had our first double amputee that came out, and actually Bo was his name, another one of my brother's fellow SEALs, and he went out there and stabbed 2 pigs, loved it. He got around. Had some good times with them.
For our listeners, they can go to www.sowwhunts.com. That's salhunts.com, Special Operations Wounded Warriors. And you can find out more about that amazing organization and how you can donate to them as well.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right.
So what is our jackwagon of the week?
All right, so this week our jackwagon is this instructor dude up in Ohio that shot one of his students.
Shot him in a gun safety class, of all the things.
Gun safety class.
In Lancaster, Ohio, a firearms instructor accidentally shot a student while teaching a gun safety class to people seeking permits for carrying concealed weapons. Says here, Terry Jade, who runs a shooting range and training center, was demonstrating a handgun when he fired a .38 caliber bullet that ricocheted off a desk and into a student's right arm. Dunlap, who is 73 years old, is also a long-time township trustee who's running for re-election in November. I don't know if this is going to help his election.
I don't think that's going to help his...
I think he's trying to shoot his way into office.
Well, one thing,
shoot his way out, that's for sure.
Well, one thing that bothers me about this, and I'm not going to claim that I came up with this theory. I'm going to give Aaron from Sage Dynamics, friend of the show, credit for this, but they keep saying it was an accident, No, it was a negligent discharge. He was handling the gun and pulled the trigger on accident, but what happened was a negligent discharge. He wasn't obeying the 4 rules. He didn't have his booger hook off the bang switch. So that being said, who should we put on the jackwagon train? Should we put the media that keeps calling it an accident, or should we put him for being negligent?
Well, it was still an accident.
Was.
He didn't mean to do it. He didn't. He's still a jackwagon for not obeying the 4 golden rules.
Yeah. He gets the mild jackwagon train because at least he was teaching a concealed carry class. he gets the little.
I bet he's not anymore.
He gets the little jackwagon train that rides around the mall for like 5 minutes. You pay him like $10 because your kid's going, I want to be on the jackwagon train, not on the jackwagon train, but I want to be on that train. And then finally you get suckered into it. Here's $10. Take my kid around the mall. He's on that version of the jackwagon train since he is pro gun and all.
Okay, I didn't know we had that version.
I just made it up.
Okay,
completely made that up.
That's another logo I'm gonna have to come up with.
You're going to have a little kid going, I want to be on the train.
Can I be on the train, Mommy?
So that's our jackwagon train. Now, John, we've asked your counterpart 5 questions. Actually, technically, we've only asked them both 3. We need to get them.
They haven't got the new ones, have they?
You should feel privileged. You're the only one of the Reaper team that is getting the 4th and 5th question.
Well, This is good then. This is a good deal.
Yep.
So our first question is, how did you get into firearms?
Well, I think it's like most kids and people my age, back in the day, your father took you hunting, showed you how to use a weapon, and took you out hunting, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, coon hunting. And I would just have to say my father got me involved into weapons because, he used to take us out hunting and shooting and enjoying the outdoors. And that's what it's all about.
That's a good answer because it jives with Reaper 01.
So we now know y'all weren't lying.
You are brothers.
Yeah, my dad was really a city slicker. He didn't like guns, and we just moseyed upon one day, But no, our dad was a big gun guy and taught us a real young age, not to touch guns. If we didn't know if they were loaded, if we were touching a gun, make sure it's unloaded first.
Awesome.
And get these things ingrained in your head on gun safety at a young age, and it helps you out in the future.
Yep.
When you get older, so you don't have those bad habits.
Now you mentioned that you've got a daughter. Is she into shooting? Do you take her out shooting?
Well, at a younger age, she was all about it. Got her, I didn't get her a 410. I had a 410, so she shot that a couple times. And 22, she shot that. And as she got older, she's 13 now, 8th grade, and she just doesn't.
Other interest, other priorities. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about a kid. If they're with their friends and they're hanging out and they're doing all the princessy stuff and, the laughing and the giggling, but then you actually get them into the outdoors, their attitude changes a little bit. And I know in my daughter it does when I take her up to our camp in Mississippi. I'll put her on the gun. She loves shooting my 22-250. She loves shooting the 22. She actually wants to hunt. As I pull her out of that and go back into the city, it kind of goes away a little bit.
Dissipates,
but, we actually went to so we went to an archery shoot, about 3 weeks ago, and she's all about it. I've had her shoot bows before and stuff like that, and looking forward to the youth hunt this year.
She a pretty good shot?
Hopefully I'll be able to. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. Yes, she is. She's not saying that because she's my daughter, but I feel I wouldn't put anybody on a weapon and on a target, at least a living animal, if I didn't feel that they could bring it down with one shot. And with her, I feel that being her first time, the amount of shooting that she has done with me, that I honestly believe 1 shot, 1 kill. I really believe that. It's just, and sometimes it's more in your genes than it is doing it all the time. I'm a really good shooter, and not that I'm the best, I'm not claiming that, but I'm a really good shooter, and, you know, it's something in my genes.
Do you have any military or law enforcement background?
I do not. Really, when I graduated high school, I didn't feel like I had to go gung-ho into the Army, Navy, you know, Marines, or any of that. I had a lot of friends that went in. But as I got older, I seen what my brother was doing, and I never heard of a Navy SEAL until probably a year after my brother joined.
Oh, wow.
You know? And, yeah, I mean, where we grew up, I never knew what a SEAL was. I knew the four forces out there and kind of talked to him a little bit. So I was about 21, I think it was, and I was like, maybe something I want to do now. And I started doing the running and the push-ups and the sit-ups and just getting my body prepped for it. But I didn't enjoy it. It was a boring thing for me, and I didn't want to make something like that a career. But there was no wars going on either at that time.
Right.
And a lot of these guys, you know, you do a lot of, you know, everybody thinks that these guys go out there and they just go running and gunning the whole time, but they do more training than they're actually on targets, you know, and they do all these running and exercises and stuff like that to get to that point. And I wasn't a fan of that.
So
I jump into something, I want to go.
Our third question deals with pop culture. What's your go-to, whether it be a movie, a song, book that deals with firearms? It's related to firearms.
Jeez, man, that's a tough one.
Could be a TV show.
You're talking to a guy that doesn't even watch a lot of TV. One thing that does ring a bell, a game.
Okay.
All right, that counts.
You know, I used to take my daughter to the arcade. In the arcade, they had this orange box with an orange shotgun-looking gun.
Yeah.
And you could shoot moose, deer, and all that other stuff. I don't know the name of the game. I think it's called Hunter or something like that.
Big Game Hunter, I think.
Big Game Hunter.
Yeah. I think it was Cabela's. Yeah, Cabela's put that out.
I think they did, yeah.
Yeah, and that is one thing I can remember I played, and I actually enjoyed shooting a big moose, and I wasn't hungry while I was shooting it.
So you're bringing games into this, which that adds a whole other level that we didn't even think about. When you go to the fair, you remember the old, the little BB gun style guns that they would have set up, and you could go around and shoot the country
star out. Yeah,
shoot the country bumpkins. No, it's like a little laser thing, and it would activate a little scene. Or something
remember
like
the
that.
shoot out the star one, but I don't remember that one.
You ever seen that one? They have like a diorama set up, like you're at the Hatfield or McCoy's house or something like that, and you hit the bucket and it tips over. You shoot Granny on her porch and she starts rocking. I'm old, dude.
How old are you? Because, well, you can't be that old because of the lasers and stuff. I don't remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember a BB gun with 100 BBs in it, and you got to shoot out the stars to get a 2-inch stuffed animal.
Well, they started off with BBs. And then I think it went to air. I don't think it was ever laser, but it was like air maybe, and you were shooting air.
That's awesome.
I know one thing. You know, you're right there because I did go to. Well, I've been to carnivals plenty of times, and I've shot them guns. I just never really thought about it much. You know, but I had the guy that was running the place show me how to actually do it. Because everybody gets up there and goes rapid fire, you know, and you got to do spurts in it. You know, just squeeze the trigger, let go.
3-round burst with a BB gun.
Yeah, you know, I did win that once, and that was the last time I ever won it because I could never do it again. I think they short me on BBs now.
That's what it is. They say, here's a ringer, guys.
I used to love the game at the fairs, the guess your weight thing, because I'm a tall guy, but I don't look that heavy, but I am. And every single time I would win something.
You keep telling yourself that, Sunshine.
No, I am. I'm 280 right now. And they would all guess, 220.
Wasn't it like a 5-pound swing they wanted or something like that?
Yeah, it was like they had to be within 5 pounds either
10
way.
pounds.
And they would always guess like 210, 220, and I'm like, nope. And step on that scale and it'd swing up to 250 to 280, what I've fluctuated in the past 10, 20, 30 years, whatever. No, not 30
and
years.
I'll take the goldfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the pitch game.
Yeah.
See how fast you could throw, guess how fast you could throw it.
And they glued the thing in it.
And you could win your favorite team's batting hat.
Yeah.
Those little hard plastic hats. You remember those?
Oh, yeah. Wow, we're really going off tracks here. So question number 4.
We're going to 4. I wanted to tell you a little story about a goldfish that I
Let's
won.
hear it.
No, go for it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I left it in the vehicle, and I didn't find it for about 4 days later.
Oh. You
My
had
daughter
sushi.
actually won it at a carnival down here in New Orleans in the summertime, and they don't allow you to leave pets in the vehicles and kids for some reason down here because it only gets about 120 or 130 in the vehicle real quick.
Crazy law.
Well, I went in the back of, I had an Escalade at the time, and I started smelling something.
Now wait,
in the
was
back.
this the tactical Escalade that was in one of y'all's episodes?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Mine was old. Mine was older. Doug has a little bit more pull than I do on the Escalade features, you know. Mine was used and beat up, you know. But it started stinking a little bit, and I just took and open the windows, and that'd be good, and leave the windows open in the garage, and you know. So I actually started rooting around. I figured out that my daughter Goldfish was MIA and went back there. All the water leaked out, and then the fish, rotten back there, you know.
And she never missed the
ended up
fish.
finding
Huh?
the smell. Well, you know, those fish don't last very long anyways.
No, they
never
don't.
do.
So we weren't able to eat it, so it was a sad day.
Roadkill's legal in New Orleans, right?
Yes, they are.
It is in Tennessee.
You have to watch some of these shows that are airing from down here, huh?
Do they have some shows about roadkill?
I don't think yet, but I'm sure they will before too long. And you guys are probably giving them ideas about roadkill right
We could
now.
be could be the first.
They're shooting a pilot right now, probably.
Yeah.
You know.
No. So the fourth question is, in your arsenal, is there any gun that you own that there's a little bitty part of you that is embarrassed to say you own it?
Or have ever owned.
Or have ever owned?
Well, it's not. I still own this weapon. I don't have it in my possession. Reaper 01 seemed to say that he wanted to take it. You know, and he's going to modify it and trick it out a little bit, and I don't even know if they make parts for this gun anymore. What I did was, years ago, I had a friend. He bought a gun at a gun show, and, you know, it's kind of like one of these throwaway guns. It's a Llama 45 caliber.
I'd never even heard of a llama.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm so embarrassed about this gun, because everybody I talk to know nothing about this Llama. They must have been in business for a year. I don't know. We're going to do some research on this one. But
No, I see them on the internet all the time.
Yeah, they're throwaways, right? Kill somebody and throw it overboard, I guess. I don't know.
It's one that you don't care if you lose. Yeah.
Yeah, because I ended up buying it off them for like $120 or something like that, and I've had the gun, and I shoot the gun, and I enjoy the gun, but when I talk to people, I kind of, I got a 45, and that's about all I say, you know, and then when they go, what kind? I kind of trying to change the subject, you know, because...
You got to deck it out like Doug did his 45.
Well, maybe that's what my brother's doing, you know?
Yeah.
But there's a company out there, Miltax, knives and tools, that goes out there and they make grips for guns and grips for your knife. And, you know, when you buy a knife from them, you can get matching grips and everything. And so I asked him at the last trade show, I said, do you make grips for llamas? And he goes, what's a llama? You know, so
it's an animal that spits.
So that's the gun that I kind of don't bring up to a lot of people. I just own a 45 pistol. That's what I tell people.
Nice.
Fifth question would be kind of the opposite of the fourth one. It would be, okay, of your list of guns that you got to have, what's next top of your list?
Well, that's a tough one, because I'll tell you that there's so many good weapons out there, weapon systems out there. You know, I kind of been trained to kind of use my 22-250 at all costs because of the kick and everything else. But once you start adding this weight to these weapons, it kind of the kick goes out of them. I'm thinking what my dream gun would be something like a Lapua, you know, maybe a 50 cal. We actually just did do a build on the SIG, which is a 308 762.
Yeah.
And Trilogy.mp3 scope, and, you know, you got the lights, the lasers, you know, suppressor. Everything's nice about that gun, and it shoots very well. So
a heavy caliber long range rifle.
Exactly. And then PWS has a nice 308 762 out there as well. Ron actually, or Reaper 01 actually has one. We were shooting that out to 1,000 yards.
Wow.
Not consistent, but we were hitting a steel plate to 1,000 yards with that.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Probably 70% of the time. So,
that's pretty good.
I mean, PWS makes a very good weapon system and platform and everything else. So I don't have a particular one that I would say I would have to have. But I do have many guns I would like to add to my arsenal.
You seem like an easy to please kind of guy, John.
Yeah, you could throw some straps on the table and I'll take it. On a weapon system. As long as it shoots straight, that's all I care about.
You were talking about in question 4 the throwaway gun deal, and I don't know if it's the same way in all states, but I know in Tennessee, if you get involved in a defensive shooting and you're acquitted, everything, they take your gun. I mean, your gun's gone pretty much.
Until they investigate,
right? And sometimes that may take years till you're fully acquitted and everything's done.
Yeah.
And it kind of stinks because you paid, you got a Glock, you're close to $600 if you bought it new, and 1911, holy crap. That's one reason I wouldn't carry a 1911. Unless it's a llama. That's what I'm saying. One, I think the law should be different.
Or a Rock Island Armory.
If they figure it out, they need to figure it out quicker, but it's just weird.
Here's the thing, they shouldn't be taking your gun to begin with because in our country, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
So there should be none of this taking your gun away. Bull.
Well, all that plays a factor with, putting the guns in the wrong hands.
Yep.
And, the one thing that I kind of, it's not the guns that are the problem, it's the people that are carrying them. Starts there with the person.
Oh, yeah.
I was raised around guns, and when I was growing up, I never had anybody pull a gun on me. I didn't live in the city, I lived in the country. When we went to a fight with our fists, not our knives and not our guns, to solve a problem. You're right. If somebody comes upon me or my family and I shoot them, defending myself or my family, and they take my weapon that is here to protect me now and in the future.
They violate your constitutional right.
Exactly. There's a fine line there. And, who are we? We're not the people anymore. It's about Big Brother watching you, the government watching you.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to get you on the show, besides the fact of filling out our Reaper trilogy, was hunting seasons are about to start. I know I'm going on a dove hunt 1st of September.
Ooh.
And we just want to talk about hunting in general. So what are some of your favorite hunts that you love to do, whether it's with the show or just by yourself?
Well, I'd have to say my favorite hunts are when Ron and Doug are gone and I can actually get on a weapon and get on a hunt.
You mean the camera doesn't count?
Turn on the camera. Did you get that? That's my favorite hunt. Getting the heck out of Reaper sometimes, we go on these hunts and we go across the country and places I probably could only dream about going. And
y'all have some big hunts.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're East Coast hunters. My brother and I grew up in the hills of Pennsylvania chasing down deer, and some were mythical deers. They didn't exist. Back then, if you shot we call them a spiker, just 2 points, you were the king of the school. Now, if you're not down in 8 and 10 points, you're the laugh of the school. So it's we get to go out west and hunt some of these big muleys, these elk, and probably my favorite hunt would have been probably our South Dakota hunt. I would have to say, went out there in big skies, big open land, you got hills you're climbing, you're rappelling into some spots that most people wouldn't even go because of the struggle getting into there. And that's my kind of hunt. And then living in a tent or living out in the open.
You actually got to work for it.
Right.
Exactly. And some of these hunts we go on, we only bring in 1 or 2 days of food. And when I say days of food, most people think breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, I mean, we bring in 2 meals, where we're out there for 6 days and we only got 2 meals.
Yeah,
each.
bare minimum.
And we go hungry, and just makes you hunt harder, to get the game so you can eat.
It makes you sprint. It makes you sprint up to a hog and stab it with a knife.
Yes. Please kill this one, Ron. It's big enough. Come on, we need the meat. But no, just sitting over a campfire with 2 of my best friends and cooking a backstrap or a hind quarter over an open fire. No spices, no TVs, no, kids running around, just talking about the old days and, hanging out. That's my kind of thing, and just enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the part of getting out to nature right there.
What's your favorite game to hunt?
My favorite game to hunt is, unfortunately, coyotes.
Why, unfortunately?
Because my brother and Doug hate that. You know,
Gotcha.
we'll be on a hunt, and a coyote will run across us, 200 yards away or sometimes 50 yards away. I don't know, but I'm like, I don't have the gun, I have the camera. I'm like, shoot it, because coyote hunting to me is kind of like what people do with turkey hunting. You hear them, you stalk them, you call them in, you shoot them. And they're smart animals. And they get wiser and wiser each time they get called. So bringing in an older coyote that's been called in several times and shot at several times and missed is kind of achievement. You kind of look at that and go, wow, I did it. And I don't go in the woods by myself a lot of times. I got 2 other guys that go in with me, and we got cameras, we got mic, we got all this stuff we got to bring in, and then we do a coyote hunt because we have time, and we're able to bring a coyote in and shoot it. That's my kind of hunt right there. It's kind of like a turkey hunter going out there, and he lives all year to just go turkey hunting.
Right.
Well, I live all year to get out there and coyote hunt. I mean, my last experience on coyote hunting was I went to Mississippi. I planted my green fields, so I went up 2 weeks later to go check on them and kind of bush hog and do some other stuff. And I got up there around 4. In Mississippi in the summertime, if anybody knows this, it's 100 degrees, got some humidity, and
humid,
it's hot.
Yeah, miserable. Kind of like Tennessee,
just miserable,
but worse.
and I had my calls, and I had my 22-250, and I said, well, let me go out there and try to call a coyote. But I didn't bring the right gear. I had a long sleeve multi-cam shirt, that we wear in the wintertime, and pants and boots. So I kitted up, and I'm like, man, this is going to be hot. So I went out there, sat down. Before I even sat down, I was covered with sweat. It was hot. And I went to grab my mouth calls, and I grabbed my one, and I went to blow on it, and it was so wet it wouldn't even blow.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was like blowing, and I couldn't get anything out of it, so I had to clean it off. And got it working, blew a couple times. I mean, within 3 minutes, I had a coyote come up on me, 30 yards away in my green field. So I ended up getting that coyote, but, I mean, that's the stuff I enjoy right there, the spur of the moment.
Yeah,
Get out there and do it. That's how dedicated I am to it.
Talk about, John, you're talking about you're going and working your fields, your green fields, and getting everything ready. Talk to some of our listeners that may not understand what you're talking about there when you're doing that and why you would do that.
What I try to do is I have 300 acres in Mississippi, and Reaper 01 and I own it together. And we have these half to acre fields. And the deer are just dropping their horns, and they're going to start growing their new ones. So you want to get them some nutrition out there to help their horns grow and help the mama when she's dropping her young, her babies and stuff. It all helps out the whole deer population. I go in there, I'll disc the whole field, plant it with some soybeans or, I mix it up, clovers and stuff like that, and then get these deer coming in and eating these fields. So it makes them healthier for the winter and prepares them for the winter ahead.
Right.
So that's kind of what these green fields, just not for me to bring in deer so I can kill them. It's so I can preserve the deer that are there and help their young to grow up for future deer.
Exactly.
Now, when it comes to different kind of hunts, we need your help. Maybe Left Hand isn't as worried about it. But 02, old Doug and I were having a conversation about what hunt we're going on, and he was kind of rattling off some of the hunts y'all scheduled for this year, and he mentioned a python hunt in Florida.
Oh, no.
Please tell him don't take us to that one.
I hate snakes. I don't do snakes.
I'm the type of guy. You can bring a box full of tarantulas and rats and gross stuff and throw it on me, and I'll just brush them off. But you bring a snake anywhere near me, I'm frozen. I will freak out.
I don't know, though, but I don't like snakes because the majority of them are smaller, creepy, crawly kind of thing. I don't think a python can sneak up on me.
It's just the whole snake thing. I don't know. Although, I will say this. If you had me on a snake hunt, y'all would have some hilarious content.
Well, there you go. We're going to invite you, and you're going to have to go, because I'm probably the same way as you are. I hate snakes. Snakes are probably, I see a snake, and I'll bust up like a girl and run away. And, and I think Ron's the same way. I don't know how Doug really feels about it. But,
he was stoked. He said he wants to walk up to one and stab it in the head.
Yeah, well, I want him to walk up to one and lay down and let it slither all over him and let me know how that feels. You know? Maybe that'll be part of the episode.
I'm the guy that walks into the zoo and I know there's like 2 to 3 inch glass and I still freak out just staring at him. It's like, oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, because I'm going to be it everywhere. When you know, they say some of these get up to, I guess, 6-8 feet long.
Oh, yeah.
In the wild.
Or longer.
And I don't want to run across a 6-inch one, let alone a 6-foot one.
Right. And aren't they nocturnal hunters?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so we're all camping out and hanging out, and they're all over the place trying to find something.
Well, that's when we sleep in the day and hunt at night.
There you go.
You know,
bring the night vision.
They become the hunted, you know, instead of the hunter.
There you go.
So that's what, you know, that is a hunt that we do have on our books for. I think it's in January. Yes, it's in January that we're going to go down there and whack some of these pythons. And then we have a pig hunt down there as well. And I think we have one more down there. We're going to do 3 hunts while we're down there in 3 different locations and just have a ball at it.
What's the weapon of choice for killing a python? You shoot them or you stab them? Or?
Well, I'm going to actually
choke them out?
Probably 3 weapons on top of me, and one is going to be my brother, my big brother, Reaper 01.
Yeah.
I'm going to be behind him the whole time.
I could see all of us cowering behind Reaper 01 as he's creeping up to the python, and we're all just kind
of... We're all fighting each other, trying to volunteer to be the cameraman for the day.
Well, I want to be B-roll because the B-roll's in the back.
Yeah.
The main camera, you can be the main camera in the front getting the tight angle shots on it.
Jeez.
And then Reaper 01 coming in for the kill.
Yeah, I'm going to be the one hugging Reaper's leg.
I think I'm going to try some throwing knives down there.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You know, and then what I have, too, is a hatchet. I want to try a hatchet out down there. Maybe, and then what I think I'm going to make Reaper 01 is a trident.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for the seal trident.
That would be a good weapon of choice.
Yeah. Well, you know, now that you're saying all the different things, that would kind of be cool to have like one of the big, long, you know, Cold Steel makes those spears.
I've got one.
Yeah, use one of those because that gets you enough distance between you and the snake.
It's called a Bushmaster.
Yeah, I could do that. Hey, maybe this we could be onto something.
I'm thinking flamethrower.
Definitely. Oh, flamethrower. Flamethrower.
I just don't know if they're going to allow that, us burning down the Everglades.
So think of the entertainment value.
To cook some good food, you know?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question. If you guys go with us, are you willing to starve a little bit?
Yeah.
And eat one of these snakes? Or are you guys willing to bring a catering service and get it done?
Oh, we'll starve, but see, I got an advantage. I got a bigger gut than all of y'all that I can feed off of for as long as I want.
We could feed off you, too. Worst came to worst. We have fricassee Zeke.
We could cut some strips off him, right?
It would be y'all's greatest rated show ever. Mostly because it would be played on CNN because everyone gets arrested.
Cannibalism.
So now it's time for facts to fight the myths. And since you are our guest, John, Reaper 03, go ahead and tell us your myth and the fact to fight it.
Well, my myth would be smoke from a fire. Reaper 01 seems to think that covering yourself in smoke helps you and takes all the scent away from you. But if you go around a person with smoke all over them, they smell like a forest fire. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if deer and animals would run from that smell or come to that smell.
Well, you would think if they smell fire, they'd run away.
Exactly. Yeah. But if they smell smoke, then they know the area is clean because it's just smoke smell, and they don't see the flames.
Or is it the beginning of a fire?
Forest fires are kind of part of nature.
Although it does get rid of the human scent.
It does get. I would think it would, except if you were cooking a deer.
True. Yeah. Then you'd have deer scent on you.
That would be my. I don't know one way or another because I don't know how you would prove something like that, because one day you could see deer and the next day you couldn't, you know, with or without it.
So, Left Hand, what's your fact to fight the myth this week?
Well, actually, I've got one from one of our lead heads. It's Jeff C. Jeff is actually from, where was he from? He's from England.
From England.
Yeah. I'm not
Great Britain, I know. I can't remember if it was England or not.
It's England.
Okay.
I'm not going to say where in England, but Jeff C. Sent this in. This is what he says. It says, reloading with Hickok 45. Your shows are always great fun, and I especially enjoy the interviews and guest. Hickok 45 is a fantastic guest, and I really enjoyed your discussion on reloading. There's one thing which you and Hickok 45 agreed about, with which I'd like to disagree. I'll present this as my fact to fight the myth. The myth being casting your own bullets isn't worthwhile as it's too slow, too hot, and too smelly. Well, if you've only ever had a go with a double cavity mold and a small lead pot, then yes, I can see why this would put you off. Here's my technique. I use 2 high-capacity molds in tandem. For instance, last weekend I cast with a Lee 6 cavity and an Accurate Molds 5 cavity, both dropping bullets from my 357 mag Marlin lever gun. Using a big old cast iron saucepan full of alloy, I fill one mold, set it down, then fill the other. By this time, the first 6 bullets have cooled enough to drop from the blocks. I then close the sprue plate, refill with molten metal, and repeat the process. I can easily fill and empty the 2 molds in 1 minute, which is an hourly rate of about 650 projectiles. This is not just an ideal rate, it really is attainable. In my last session, I cast for 3 45-minute periods on Sunday afternoon. After tidying away, I checked my bullet count by weighing my mountain of shiny new components. I've made 1,700 good quality bullets from free alloy recovered from my local indoor range. So in a couple of hours, I've made enough bullets for 10 to 15 weeks worth of shooting. And he goes on. Good shooting to you both, and all at the network.
Okay.
Woo, I can read fast, can't I?
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff C. No, we really do appreciate it, Jeff. Brethren from overseas.
From across the pond.
My fact to fight the myth, I'm going to go back to the hunting subject. And a lot of people don't wear a tree stand harness. And their myth, and the big myth is, it can't happen to me. I've hunted in tree stands my whole life, and I've never fell out.
That's them falling out of the tree.
Oh, okay. The fact is, it's just like carrying a handgun for personal protection. There is probably, a 1% chance or less that you'll ever have to draw that handgun on somebody in a defensive situation? But do you want to be on your deathbed going, dang, I should have had that gun? Same thing with the deer harness. Yeah, maybe there's a very slim chance that you'll fall out of that tree, but I don't want to be falling out of the tree going, dadgummit. So that's my fact to fight the myth. If you're going hunting and you're in a tree stand, wear a harness.
Buckle up.
Exactly. So our trivia for this week, as you heard, we had Max Michel on earlier, and he broke a couple records down in Florida. He has offered to give away something very, very cool.
Due to the magnitude of the value of this giveaway, it's going to be a little harder than usual.
Two-part question.
Two-part question. And
so what?
First part of that is?
What he's giving away is a pair of eyewear.
Of his signature eyewear.
And you need to tell us what brand that eyewear is. And then the second part is?
You need to tell us what speed records Max just recently broke and where.
So send us an email to talkinglead@gmail.com. You can post it on Facebook, wherever you can get a hold of us, and tell us what is the brand of the eyewear he wears and what records he broke in Florida recently. We will put the correct answers in a drawing, draw your name, and Max will send you that said eyewear. So I've got an apology/correction from a few shows back.
Not giving credit where credit's due.
Exactly. I said we had a listener that told me about Falling Skies, and we had fallen in love with Falling Skies, which we really did. And I wanted to give him credit, and it's Thomas L. Thank you so much for that, Thomas. I am giving you credit where credit is due. Falling Skies is awesome. And then he talks about another show, too, right?
Yes, he does. He talks about the strike back that's on Cinemax. Basically what it is a British intelligence team on various bad guy killing missions. Find a lot of action, accurate tactics, and more black guns than Texas. This is the best gun show on TV by far. Firearms are highlighted rather than just props that the actors are holding. So he goes on and talks about that, Strike Back. I've heard a lot of good things about that. I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet, but everybody should check that out. If you don't like it, you can blame Tom.
Thanks again, Thomas L.
So, Zeke, you've got some iTunes feedback for us. What do you got?
We do have some new iTunes feedback. It's confusing, but it's interesting. We have great podcast. 5 stars by Mark010111. These guys always have great guests. And Zeke and Left Hand are somewhat intelligent.
Okay, he's giving us a little credit there.
Yeah,
probably more than we deserve.
It could be a half insult. It could be a half.
I'm taking it as not an insult, but a compliment.
Yes, a half compliment.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah, I need it.
That compliment is half full.
Yes, exactly. We also have another one. Good stuff. 5 stars by Travic. Oh gosh, TRAVICLYSM. Whatever that name is. He gave us 5 stars. Thank you. Says been listening for quite a while now, and it's amazing how you guys have progressed. I enjoy your approach to firearms from a novice point of view. Thanks, and keep up the good work, fellas. Thank you very much, Travis. Whatever. Yeah. Okay, now we'll call.
So we got a Facebook one. This is from Kevin P. And this gets back into our segment that we're going to have from time to time where we're talking about more prominent people, whether they're an athlete or they're an actor or something like that that's responsible with firearms. And he goes in to say, hey guys, just listen to your Athletic Jackwagon podcast. Let's not forget another athlete that is a well-recognized responsible gun owner, Phil Robertson. Although he wasn't in the NFL, he was certainly a good quarterback at Louisiana Tech. And for those who don't watch Duck Dynasty, Phil Robertson is
the daddy.
He's the main guy on Duck Dynasty.
Which I got a correction for you.
Okay.
The actual story is Terry Bradshaw was Phil's backup. Phil was apparently a better quarterback than Terry Bradshaw was.
Right.
Phil quit his junior year to start a duck call business.
Is that what it was?
Which turned into Duck Dynasty.
I was thinking there was an injury or something that went into that.
He quit to start a duck call business, which turned into the dynasty that is Duck Dynasty. And if Phil would have never done that, we could have had Phil win the, 3 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls?
Or he'd be sitting right next to Howie Long on.
Exactly.
Doing commentating.
Yeah. So that's a pretty interesting story there.
Yeah, but so we appreciate you sending that in, Kevin.
So we're going to announce a couple of new sponsors. First one being...
Our first one is ICE
Training. And Mr. Rob Pincus just happens to be on the phone with us right now. How's it going, Rob?
Great, guys. I'm really proud of you guys inviting me to be part of the show and letting us participate. Looking forward to keeping everybody posted on what is going on with ICE Training Company. Of course, we got the classes on the range and a lot of the media content, the books, the DVDs. I'm sure I'll slip in some information about Personal Defense Network. For those not familiar with us, our flagship program is a combat-focused shooting program. It's an intuitive defensive pistol course. We've got its sister course, the carbine or rifle course. And we just do a lot of different things and, all centered around education and helping people prepare for that worst-case scenario that hopefully doesn't ever occur, but we know it might. And I really appreciate everything you guys do to help people get educated and share the news of the industry. And I'm looking forward to, of course, being on air with you and getting to meet some of the viewers and listeners that you guys have.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, Rob, we're
excited.
Really appreciative here, too, and we're really excited about having you on board and learning, and not only us learning, but our listeners learning everything that you guys have to offer, because you are a huge outfit that has all kinds of different offerings, not only the training, but product as well. So it's going to be a very interesting partnership that we got here.
It's going to be a fun ride.
It's going to be awesome.
And I'm looking forward to it. And you guys will get to meet some of the other staff instructors we've got, the other CFS instructors, and I'm sure we'll also talk about some of the product stuff as well.
Awesome. And to check out ICE Training, go to icetraining.us. Appreciate it, Rob.
All right, guys. You got a whole year to figure it out. Talk to you later.
See you, man.
Thanks, Rob.
So let's talk a little bit about U.S. Elite Gear. U.S. Elite Gear,
right.
Y'all have heard Jim Irwin on our show before. He works with them, and one of the things that really intrigued us about them is when we first met Jim, he and Left Hand and I were talking about U.S. Elite Gear, and one of the cool things that he was talking about is his sales approach is building that relationship and finding out exactly what you need. And it's not force-feeding you what the newest company that wants them to sell the most of, or he's going to get a bonus if he sells the most, Sunto watches or whatever.
They custom fit each of their clients with what they need.
Right, whatever.
By asking questions
and building that relationship, and you can trust these guys. You can find out about them us-elitegear.com. You can get all kinds of cool gear from them. Also, if you enter the code TalkingLead at checkout, you will get a discount.
That is correct, and they are veteran owned and operated.
Yes, they are. So check out US Elite Gear. Thank you so much for coming on board with us.
We're really looking forward to our new relationships with US Elite Gear and ICE.
John, we've heard about how to get a hold of Reaper Outdoors. Why don't you refresh our listeners' memory on how they find out about you guys,
and
websites,
what you got coming
YouTube,
up.
What you got coming up?
Become part of Reaper Nation. That's what I got to say. No, you can go to www.reaperoutdoors.com. TLP.com and check out our website. You can comment on the shows by going to www.reaperoutdoors@gmail.com. That's our website, our email address. And you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And I hear that we're getting into Instagram as well.
Yes, you are. I've seen y'all on there.
And that is a product of Doug, Reaper 02, that started that. And, we hope that develops into something as well and reaches more people.
And also our other sponsors, Firearms Radio Network, bandwidth sponsor, firearmsradio.tv.
Holder and Green, HG Press Professional Real Estate Services. For all your Middle Tennessee real estate needs, call 1-800-615-1840, extension 2222. And the guys there can help you with any of your real estate needs.
And All or Nothing Tattoo Company, that is allornothingtattoo.com, and their gear store, strangleholdmerch.com. So, Left Hand, we've got our Kickstarter campaign that we've launched. And there are 22 days left. Actually, now 21. 22 days was yesterday.
We've actually got some...
Yeah, we've got some sponsors.
Well, Mulan donated.
Not sponsors, but we've got some...
supporters.
Supporters, right, exactly. And what we're doing with this is we are putting together a Kickstarter campaign to get all the equipment to launch a TV pilot. Going to be very entertaining. We're going to try to get it on a network. If not, the reason we're doing the Kickstarter is so we can have all the equipment and we can throw it up on YouTube. So if people like the pilot and no network picks it up, we'll throw it on YouTube, and guess what? With the Kickstarter campaign, we've got all the equipment to do it. We got some really, really cool stuff that we're going to be doing with this. Check it out, Kickstarter.com, and just search Talking Lead, and you'll see it on there. And Artisan Tony brought up a good point. With Kickstarter, there's different reward levels, but that doesn't mean you can't donate $1. The minimum is $1, but Artisan Tony was like, well, gosh, if people knew they could only donate 100 or 75 or whatever, you'd probably have more. And that is one weakness that I see that Kickstarter has. They don't make it clear that you can donate any amount if y'all want to donate to this. It can be some really, really cool projects that we've got in the works with this thing. We even thought, TN Outdoors 9 gave me a good idea of doing our NPR voices, and like we did the other day. And
asking our listeners and supporters.
Do you enjoy the content that you hear on Talking Lead? What's it worth to you? Is it worth $1 a day?
A great way for you to show your appreciation and your liking of our show would be to go and donate $5 million, $3 million. And we'll, in turn, show our gratitude.
If you donate $5 million, we'll buy an entire network ourselves.
And we'll have you as a guest on half an episode.
Every show.
On half an episode.
You will be the new host.
You will get
with
to be
us on Talking Lead.
An extra. Don't listen to Zeke. You'll be in the background.
Left Hand would be gone.
I think we'd both be gone.
Left Hand would be in Tijuana, baby.
It's like show up to work Monday morning and you guys are gone.
I'd be in Tijuana making different kind of movie.
I'd get $100,000 of it, and I'd be like, "Oh, cool, we got all this fixed." And Left Hand's like, "I quit." Next thing you know, he's in Tijuana with $4 million, and I've got this guy sitting next to me that donated, going, "Hey, I paid a lot for this."
He's sitting there giggling the whole time. Yeah, I'm here with Zeke. Oh, it's Zeke.
Well, thanks, John, for calling in, spending the show with us, talking a little bit about hunting. And we'll have to do it again soon.
Looking forward to that hunt with you guys. Hopefully not the boa.
Yeah, when you guys come down, we'll have snakes available for you all to touch and feel.
I don't want snakes.
And as always, Left Hand, keep your loved ones close.
And keep your firearms closer.